Have you ever felt like your mind betrays you at the worst possible moment? Not your body, not your environment, your mind. You plan, you prepare, you push. But when the storm hits, something inside you snaps. Overthinking, doubt, panic. It's like your brain becomes your enemy. And the worst part? No one notices. You could be sitting in a meeting, walking down a street, or laughing with friends, and inside you're falling apart. You ever asked yourself, why do some people go through hell and come out stronger, while others break from just a bad day? It's not talent, it's not luck, it's not even strength. It's a rule, a mental law, quiet, ruthless, ancient, one the Stoics lived by. This rule isn't printed on coffee mugs. It's not sold in self-help books. It doesn't tell you to manifest or visualize. It tells you to shut up, face the pain, own it, control what's yours, ignore what's not. It's the reason Marcus Aurelius stayed calm when Rome was burning. It's the reason Viktor Frankl didn't lose his mind in a concentration camp. And it's the reason you, yes you, can become mentally unbreakable. But I'm not here to throw quotes at you. I'm here to show you how it works. So before I tell you the rule, let me walk you through the story of someone who should have shattered, but didn't, and how this rule, this brutal mental discipline, kept their mind from breaking, even when everything around them was gone. He was 17. Everything he owned fit in a bag. No home, no safety net, no backup plan. Just one rule carved into his mind by his father. Control what's inside. Forget the rest. The world outside was loud. People judged, rejected, betrayed. He had every reason to collapse, to lash out, to become bitter. But he didn't, because he wasn't trying to control the world. He was trying to control the one battlefield that actually mattered, his own mind. See, the Stoics believed that there are two kinds of things within your control, and things that aren't. And if you spend your life trying to bend the second category, people's opinions, outcomes, chaos, you don't just lose, you exhaust yourself, you fracture your peace, you become a slave to what was never yours to own. That's what this kid understood at 17. He didn't try to convince people, didn't try to impress them, didn't try to predict the future. He just woke up every day and asked himself, what can I control right now? His breath, his reaction, his routine, his effort. And slowly, he built something stronger than motivation. Mental discipline, not noisy, not flashy, but relentless, solid, quiet. And that's the core of the Stoic rule. Freedom comes from internal control. The less you depend on the external, the more power you gain over yourself. Let me ask you, how much of your life is still ruled by things you can't control? How much peace have you traded for attention, validation, or likes? And when that chaos hits, because it always does, will you break like most people, or stand like he did? Because here's the truth. You don't need the world to get easier. You need your mind to get sharper. For weeks, he lived in survival mode. No comfort, no excuses, just repetition, just control. He didn't meditate under waterfalls or journal his feelings. He showed up, cold mornings, empty pockets, no applause. And yet, his mind got stronger, day by day. Why? Because when life stripped everything away, he was left with the only thing that mattered, his internal system. The Stoics called it the inner citadel, a fortress built not from stone but from discipline, awareness, and restraint. And the most dangerous man isn't the one who controls others. It's the one who doesn't need to, because he's already mastered himself. He didn't need motivation to get up. He didn't need perfect conditions to start. He didn't even need to believe in himself. He just needed to act every day in alignment with the rule. Control what you can, release what you can't. You think self-control is about resisting temptation? That's part of it, but it's deeper. It's about refusing to give external forces the keys to your emotions. No news headline, no text, no rejection, no win or loss. Nothing outside you should have the power to define you. And slowly, he became unshakable. Not because the world changed, but because he did. This is what modern people miss. They want peace without discipline, strength without repetition, respect without restraint. But it never works that way. The inner citadel is not a place you visit. It's something you build, brick by brick, choice by choice, day after day. And once you've built it, you stop fearing storms, because you've become the storm. Now, if this hits something in you, and you want to sharpen that inner control, make sure you subscribe right now, because this channel is not just for watching, it's your training ground. If you want to stop depending on motivation and actually rewire your mindset, hit subscribe and turn on the bell. Your transformation starts here. There's a reason why most people never gain control over their mind. They confuse comfort with strength. They wait for the right mood, the right moment, the right energy. But the Stoics, they trained under fire. They believed if your mind only works when life is easy, then it's not your mind, it's your crutch. The boy, now 18, was still broke, still alone. But something had changed. His voice didn't shake in interviews. He didn't flinch when people ignored him. He wasn't chasing praise or avoiding pain. He had trained his thoughts like a soldier trains his reflexes, sharp, fast, and emotionless under fire. See, mental strength isn't loud. It's not dramatic. It's the quiet refusal to be owned by chaos. He built rituals, cold showers, long walks, reading when he was exhausted. He practiced doing things he didn't feel like doing, because doing them anyway was the point. No, it wasn't about the shower. It was about command, telling his mind what to do and having it obey. This is where most people fail. They think their feelings are instructions. I don't feel like it becomes a reason, a pass, a rule. But for him, that was the moment to move. The resistance meant he was on the right track. He didn't call it motivation. He didn't need music or speeches. He had something better, standards. And that's what makes you unbreakable. When your behavior isn't a reaction, but a command. So let me ask you, what would change if your actions stopped depending on how you felt and started depending on who you've decided to become? It didn't happen overnight. Nothing changed on the outside. He wasn't richer, wasn't more popular, but his inner world, that was different. Small things that used to shake him, a rude comment, a late payment, a missed call, now barely touched him, because he had detached his peace from outcomes. He didn't need things to go his way to stay composed. He trained himself to respond, not react, and that made him rare. Most people are addicted to reaction. They get angry, then regret. They get excited, then crash. They live as slaves to emotion, wondering why peace never lasts. But he'd done the work, the boring, unsexy, relentless work of mastering thought. So when challenges came, and they did, he didn't flinch. Not because he was numb, but because he had clarity. This is the real gift of Stoic discipline, the power to stay grounded while the ground shakes, not by running from pain, not by ignoring fear, but by standing still and saying, I choose how this affects me. That one choice changes everything. He didn't rise by chance. He rose by design, by waking up each day and rebuilding the inner citadel, not for show, not for likes, not for applause, but because he knew peace isn't something you find, it's something you forge. And maybe you're not where you want to be. Maybe you've tried and failed more times than you can count. Good. That means your mind is still in the game. Now, train it. Not with hype, with discipline, with stillness, with the daily choice to rise. Because the truth is, you don't become mentally unbreakable by waiting to feel ready. You become it by acting while you're broken. Every morning, before the noise, before texts, traffic, deadlines, distractions. He sat in silence, no music, no scrolling, no talking, just breath, just presence, and one question whispered to himself: what kind of mind do I want to carry into this day? Not what do I have to do, not what might go wrong, but what kind of mind? He chose sharp, calm, relentless, and for 10 minutes he visualized himself living that, walking into pressure with poise, hearing criticism without shrinking, feeling fear and moving anyway. Then he stood up and acted like the man he visualized before the world had a chance to shape him. This is the secret no one tells you. You don't become mentally unbreakable by waiting for peace. You become it by choosing your mental state before the chaos shows up, and you choose it again and again, until eventually your mind doesn't ask for control. It becomes control. You don't flinch anymore. You don't chase quiet. You carry it. Now, if this video said something your mind wasn't ready to admit out loud, subscribe, because the next one goes even deeper. Not hype, not motivation. A real roadmap for building the mindset most people never even realize they're missing. And before you scroll away, ask yourself, and I mean really ask, what would your life look like if your mind was no longer negotiable?